Every time I get given an opportunity to share a bit of my story or to speak with people, probably the greatest thing that I'm most grateful about is just being given that opportunity to share a part of my story, because I would attribute so much of my success today from listening to other people's stories. Our story is our story, and it's what makes us such, strong individuals. And in that story is we all have something that we can offer the person that's sitting next to you. I guarantee if you just turn and shared yourself for just 1 minute, you would find something in that person's 1 minute that you would take with you maybe for a year, for 3 years, for 5 years. Who knows, you might carry it for the rest of your life. The reality is we're Australian, and that is part of our Australian culture. And when my grandfather gave me my traditional name, Yangara Yerambangara Nidamja, Yangara Yera means the neck between two worlds. It talks about the long-necked turtle. And it talks about the neck of the long-necked turtle as it stretches across the water and dips its face, its small chin, into that water. Its body is still on the land, and it's bridging at that point between the two worlds. And that was what my grandfather saw. That my grandfather saw this gift, if you want to call it, within me, of this desire to want to bridge the two worlds that I come from and celebrate those two worlds that I come from. Not be afraid of it. Not be so passionate and patriotic about my Aboriginality that I forget that I have a white mother. But in fact, be brave enough to embrace that and be brave enough to say that, yes, we can coexist together. When I think about some of the wounds that maybe I carried from my young life as a young person, that I have the ability now to heal those wounds through my children, that they're doing all those sort of things. They are doing them all for me. That I remember driving up the Bruce Highway. I'd been out speaking at a gig in Ipswich, or nearby Ipswich, somewhere in Goodno it was. And I was driving up the highway, and I was playing a CD of Gurumul, and which is a totally different language to our language, and this beautiful haunting songs. And my son, I was driving, and I heard my son crying in the back seat of the car. He's like crying. I turned around and said, "Son, what's the matter?" And he said, "I don't know." And I knew at that moment that the music is making him cry, but how does a 6-year-old tell you that? So I said, "What do you mean, what you don't know? Why are you crying?" And I stopped the car on the side of the Bruce Highway, and I unbuckled his seatbelt and sat him up on the roof. I said, "Son, tell me why you're crying." And he said, "I don't know, Dad. The song's making my heart sad." In unlocking our potential, or in unlocking our dreams, we need to peel back the layers of that onion to get to the core and not be afraid of it. And not only look at the good things, but actually be brave enough to sit in the shadows. Because it's in those shadows that I believe you find the strength, that you find the courage that will give that spine everything you need to stand and to walk forward. I've been really blessed at the ability to make a choice. That my grandfather asked me this very, very important question. He said, "Son, what do you want to be in life?" And he said, "You can either be another Aboriginal kid in jail." And guess what? That number, 164320, which was my juvenile correction number, that's all you will ever be, is that number. Or you can become someone. But you have to dare to dream. And that's what it takes. It's being brave enough to dream and never giving up on that dream. And holding on to that dream and believing in the dream, because dreams are like an infectious disease. That what happens if I tell you my dream, whatever it is, if I tell you a dream right now, and I tell you with so much conviction and so much passion, you go, "Wow, I believe in his dream." And all of a sudden, my dream just got more powerful because you're believing in it now. And all of a sudden, it gains so much momentum that it's inevitable that it's going to come true because it's got such emotion behind it. And you're so passionate about it. But if I say to kids, and I work a lot with young teenagers that are in jail or whatnot, and, I say, don't say, "Yeah, I dream, I'll be a footballer." If you don't believe in your dream, no one else can. Everyone needs a dream. And it's okay to achieve your dream. Don't be afraid to achieve it. Because when you achieve it, guess what? You get to make another one You get to have heaps. Dreams are awesome. You never stop dreaming. The capacity to dream is unlimited. But you just have to be brave enough to start that dream. And this is not something that's new. It's not new age. It's not, like just that people have been dreaming for thousands of years. That it's not just Aboriginal people that wrote shit on walls. Everyone's ancestors did, people stuck up rocks, people built pyramids, people built massive temples. They were dreams. Humans have been dreaming for thousands and thousands of years. It seems to have, our dreaming has slowed down because of this humanized fear that we've created. And this disconnection from one another, this actually, human fear of actually meeting another human. We were so afraid to speak. And, this is so true that it is judgment. We do live in a judgmental world. There is no lies to it. That we are so prejudiced to what our eyes see. And it takes me back to this very, very simple teaching that my grandfather taught me about our gifts in life as humans. Our people believe that the Nyugal, where my grandfather was born, believed that the first gift that we were ever given in life as humans, when we woke up in this world, was the gift of hearing. So we could listen to the voice of our brothers and sisters, our other people that were living next to us. We could listen to the voice of the brothers and sisters, the plants and the animals. And we developed that skill of listening to identify this. You knew everyone by who they were, by just their song, by their voice. And then once we developed that skill, we then were given the gift of smell. And as the wind blew, we knew the seasons were changing based purely on smell. We could tell the animal that was near us by smell. We could even tell the person that was next to us by smell. And after that was developed, we then were given the gift of taste. And we could taste the pollen in the air. And we could taste the sweetness of the honey that the bees had created. We could even taste the sweat from someone else. And we developed that. And the last gift, the final gift that we were ever given as humans was the gift of sight. And it was supposed to be the greatest gift that we were ever given. But from the moment our eyes opened, we forgot about everything else. And we judged that mountainous terrain or that desert terrain by, it looks too desert over there, I'm going to stay by this ocean. And we ruined the waterways because we ate all the food in that one spot. And we looked at that big fat kangaroo and went, that's great, I'm going to eat all that. Look how much food's there. And we forgot about that little porcupine with all the spines on it, the echidna. And we let him go. And all of our balance went out just because of our eyes and lies. Because our eyes were deceiving us all the time. That no longer were we trusting the gift of feeling or the gift of hearing. And we were we were judging everything on our side. And it happens today. It's so real. Tattoos make people judgmental. Cars we drive, color of skin, clothes we wear. We are judgmental people. And it's only, like when I first met my granddad, I thought there was something wrong with me. Maybe I was too white for his eyes, because he would never look at me when he was speaking to me. That everything was communicated looking down or looking away. Because my grandfather and our way was that it was disrespectful to look at someone when you were communicating. That if you were looking at them, you were judging them. But if you were listening, you were feeling them.